up? What up?
Hi.
What's
I
going
am so happy we were able to do this. My apologies for being a little late. I was finishing up a show for Hobby News Daily for who I write for, and it was the 1 year anniversary. So,
All good. All good, man.
Absolutely. I'm thankful we were able to do Saturday.
yes,
So I'm
yes. So we all on the road. I'm on the road today. I'm not in my cart lab. I'm at the in-laws' house, and yeah, it's this Saturday. I kind of like this Saturday twist.
yeah,
So,
a little different. A little different.
episode
I
3,
know.
every other week cardboard show.
Yes.
Uh, I got bullied into being a host, but I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna run with it. Um, so, welcome to the Every Other Week Cardboard Show. Let's jump into our first topic. But before we do that, we got FD in the building and we got Jenny in the building. How y'all doing?
Did we lose FD?
I don't know.
Ah,
Come
I
on,
think so.
FD, come back to
Where
us.
are you? We got a lot of people joining too, so that's
I
good.
know. All right. While FD is working that out, Jenny, why don't you start us off? What's going on in your cardboard world today?
Okay. So actually last weekend I went to the Austin Card Show, which was great because it wasn't as overwhelming as the Dallas Card Show. I mean, I love the Dallas Card Show, but the Austin Card Show was a little bit more contained.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of time that I was able to focus on sitting down and actually
Oh, you're back, FD.
going through like dollar boxes, which I tend to not do as much as the Dallas Card Show. I think because it's so big and there's so many
Yeah.
people. But I got to sit down, I got to talk, I got to communicate with, the dealers, and I got to really look through these boxes. And so I was able to pick up a bunch of Gunnar Henderson. I got some Ellie De La Cruz. I got some Josh Young, which is my PC. And I got like 40 cards for maybe $20. So
Okay.
That's a good deal. That's
yeah,
a good deal.
yeah, it was great. So
How many,
they're
how
looking
many
at
tables, Jenny? How many tables were this? How big was the show?
I mean, if you really think about it, so it's one big conference center. So I'd say maybe, and I'm probably totally wrong, and Santiago is going to be like, no, Jenny, maybe 50.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean,
FD, what
it was all contained into one area, one almost like a gymnasium type, a little bit bigger. But it was fun. I said it wasn't so complicated. It wasn't so, rooms off everywhere. It was one area, a lot of good friends that I saw, and was able to pick up some cool stuff. I also, oh my gosh, so I finally did a spreadsheet on my eBay and my
You
sales,
talking about?
comes and goings, and I realized that I'm not doing so well when it comes to like the fees and stuff. So I started trying to look at different systems and different ways to keep track and integrating. I actually was able to go to the My Card post and pull them up, and then you use My Card post to post them elsewhere. And so I was really, really struggling with that and having a lot of technical difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, that was my whole week, 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. FD, what's going on with you?
Well, I've
What's going
been
on in your cardboard world?
today I was at home. There was some shows here, but I didn't go to them. Today I was at home just like watching a lot of different content. Of some people that I have never watched before, and just understanding like what kind of content is out right now. It seems to be, there's no knock against it. It seems to be a lot of transactions.
Yeah.
A lot of I have this lot for sale or these cards for sale, and what do you want to buy it at and at what price? And then they'll walk you through the negotiation, how they got there. They'll pull up comps and show you comps from all ages. Like there may be a vendor that has children come up, and they'll go through the same conversations up to someone that's an adult. It's just been interesting to see what cards are moving. A lot of autographs people are selling or buying of their favorite players. A lot of more PC stuff. It seems to me you'll hear people talk about somebody that they like or they follow. Like Jenny, I see a lot more getting back into some price bands and seeing what's going on and what are people finding. That's what I've been doing. It's just it's good to see what is everybody in the hobby if they're watching content, kind of what they're saying.
FD with the analytics, man.
You gotta do it sometimes. To me, you gotta press pause, and then even like the show though, I'm asking questions, but I want to see stuff outside of California. So sometimes you just gotta press pause and understand what's going on there.
So shout out to everybody in the room. I know a couple of people like popped in messages and said hello, said hi. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Kayla Collects in here, 22 Cars, Papa Jim. Thank you all.
Yeah.
So for me, last week I checked out the Cherry Hill Expo in New Jersey. It was a great show, a lot of vintage, a lot of 90s cards, modern cards. But the thing that stood out to me, and I'm so glad I didn't take my daughter because I would have lost all my money, they had a whole room dedicated to Pokemon.
Okay.
And there was a lot of people in and out of it, in and out the card show in general. But that Pokemon room had a lot of traffic, and
I bet.
just to see the foot traffic, the conversations, and just listening in and seeing people who are like entrenched in that world, man, it's now I see why my 7-year-old daughter loves it. But it was a good show. It was a great show. I'm glad I went. And then I finally pieced together my first article for Topps. And I'm also doing some exploration writing right now. I'm doing this series on it's called my 90s card love story. So just been doing a lot of like explorative writing and having a lot of fun with it. But I do have one follow-up question. Jenny, how did it feel to get some customer support from the top guy at My Card Post?
Absolutely. So that was really cool. So I said I was having a lot of technical difficulties, and I happened to just message the help, like any of us would randomly just, I need help. I'm emailing this random help email. I don't know what's going on. And I was probably a little salty maybe because I was struggling and I felt like things got complicated on one side and it was just a mess. So anyways, Ezra, who happens to also be the CEO, like the big guy, actually said, "Kay, can we have a phone call?" I was like, sure. So we talked and he was able to walk me through it. He was really kind. It was awesome because he had mentioned that he really just wanted to network and to really get to know me and see what was up, see where I was going, and also help me through. So having that customer service, it was just really personal, and it helped me through a time that I was ready to give up on My Card Post and be like, nope, done. So I ended up getting everything figured out and coordinated, and eBay back to normal, and all my settings back to normal. And
so FD, we know where to go when we need to talk to the top guys at these companies. All we gotta do is get Jenny on.
Right.
Yeah. All we gotta do is get Jenny on.
I got people on my payroll. I'm just
That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to do that. I think any CEO who's willing to jump in the trenches, because oftentimes, like I'm an assistant principal, so every day I'm in my job, I'm like taking this 30,000 view, this perch view, like supporting kids, supporting teachers, janitors, everything. And then sometimes you got to roll up your sleeves and like get in the trenches. You know what I mean? You got to do that work too. Now you can't get lost in that work, but you got to do that work too. So that was awesome that Ezra was able to jump in the trenches and do that work.
I was really thankful. Speaking of that Pokemon thing, I've had a lot of people. My 4-year-old granddaughter has kind of gotten into the whole Pokemon Go, watching and learning, and so I've had a lot of my Instagram followers sending me random Pokemon cards for her to start in a little binder. So they obviously probably aren't $100 Pokemon cards, not probably $5 Pokemon cards, but the point is she can start having that passion, and she can start building on it, so when she is old enough she can actually put research in and do her own thing. So right now I'm just trying to get her pumped up, but I'm so thankful. Like, my followers have been phenomenal, just sending me all this stuff for her to help her get that passion. And, you know, I feel like I'm a part of that. So
It's a great thing.
Shout out to 222 Cards, Brandon Ryan 74, Conversations on Deck, Principal Power. I'm a
I
principal up here.
see a lot
Okay.
of my peeps
Yeah.
here. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Yes, that's awesome.
So we're going to jump into our main topic. And I know you and I had had our own conversation about this,
We
Jenny,
did.
because FD was out partying. You know,
No.
we try to have our little, like, our weekly check-in. FD didn't tell us he was at the bar and was all out. But you and I had a great conversation about this. But I do want to start with FD first. So our card hot topic this week was the one-to-one Wimmy controversy, and our whole idea was like fair or foul. So what do you think,
This is
FD? Is it
about Kurt
fair or
Skarsgård.
foul?
Kurt Skarsgård
Yeah,
clean.
yeah.
Uh, I am very open to cleaning the card.
Okay.
I am not open to trimming or altering a card, dimensions of a card, things like that. But we know there are imperfections that come from the manufacturer on cards.
Yeah.
Residue, it could be, it looks like a print line. You may get the wipe and that thing goes away. So I'm really, you know, sometimes in the hobby, there are some things that are very controversial, but I've collected comic books all my life. Comic books are clean, pressed. One could say that's altering the condition of the comic book. All kind of wrinkles are taken out.
Yeah.
They're graded. If you look at art is cleaned. And it restores the surface and the color and the vibrancy of the paint itself, and art collectors love that. Even coins are clean and changed. So I see it as no different than that. So I'm really all for it. There's a question that people ask: well, how is the card going to appear over time? We don't have the answer to that. We don't know that. We'll see over time.
Okay.
All of us will see. But that's the only question that's out there. Will whatever we fix change over time?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go next because I think, Jenny, you had a lot of good insight, and I think after our conversation I had some time to think about it, because I was like on the fence, both like leaning both ways. But it makes sense, you know what I mean? I'm someone who I go through my local card store to have my cards shipped off. And before they send them away, they check them out and they clean them up for me. Now they're not trimming them, they're not altering them, but they're trying to get them in the best looking condition possible so I can get the highest grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you are like removing a fingerprint or a smudge or something like that, it makes sense to me. Now, if you're trimming a card to, you know, get a higher grade or to control the market, especially if you want to sell it, you know, I have a problem with that. But I have no problem with what happened with the Wimmy card, unless it was within the rules and the regulations of like making it look the most presentable for grade.
Yes. Jenny, what you got?
Close us out.
FD pretty much said everything I was going to say, but because I'm so passionate about this subject, I'm going to say it all again. So I was watching a video the other day, and it was Mr. Jeff Wilson, and he was comparing our hobby, cards, being artwork. And if you have a painting from the 1700s and it's in a museum, it needs to be cleaned. Do we clean it to restore it? Do we bring it back to its original, beautiful, colorful glory? Yes, without changing it, because obviously changing it wouldn't be the same painting, right? So, I mean, when I heard him say that, that's when I really started thinking and getting really passionate about it. And FD's right. Like, CGC presses comics. You send your comics to get pressed flat to get them ready for grading and all that good stuff. So why would, you know, just cleaning fingerprints and shining the cards up and bringing them back to their original glory not, you know, why would that be an issue? As long as you're not trimming them, you're not altering them in any way, Who cares?
Yeah.
You're making them back to their original, just like a painting. So Jeff Wilson nailed it. And when I heard him say it, I can't even say it with as much passion as he did, but I got passionate about it. And I totally agree. As long as
So
you're
we got
not
some comments here. The Reverend
Yeah.
says, I think the cleaners are doing more than wiping down cars, which I do. Section 36 says wiping is okay, adding to is not so much. And then the Reverend comes back, artwork is not produced in the 200,000s. I will say this. All I can say is I've seen comic books. I've stood there and watched the comic book submerged in a liquid to remove fingerprints, debris, dirt from hands, to take all that stuff off a cover and inside pages to get closer to the white pages.
Wow.
I've seen all this happen. So it's not, we can say, if they're saying like they only want wiping down, much more than that happens other places. Coins are submerged in an acid-like solution to take all kind of, if a coin is in circulation, to take all of that off.
right.
So
Varnishing.
it's we all can have our own opinions, but for me, not a concern of mine.
We do have a question. Someone said, would you tell, the Reverend Rip said, would you tell the graded company what you did? If they don't, they are trying to deceive.
I don't think the
Thoughts about
graded
that
company.
question?
I don't think they want to know.
Okay.
I don't think any graded company wants to know. I've submitted cards and put extra information in with the card, maybe when it was signed, the date it was signed, or something that happened with the card, and they've used that information. One could do that if you want the grading company to know that. You can submit that information, but I don't think they are concerned with that.
FD, answer this question because I think you're probably the most familiar with this. The real CYP card said, what do you think? What do you guys think of Kurt's product?
I've never had it in my hands. I've talked to several people who order it regularly and use it regularly, and they've been satisfied with it. And some people have like, Kurt's has been around for years. Why are we just not talking about this? I just talked to some people the other day. So they seem very satisfied with it. I personally have not used it.
And Reverend Rips followed up and said, would you still tell a grading company?
Me personally, I would not say anything about it. I don't know. I don't think a grading company wants to know that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're about to do with that information. It's not going to be on their website. There's no denotation on the card that has ever been talked about. So, yeah, I think if you're not trimming or altering that card, I don't think they're asking that question.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you all think about that?
I mean, again, I'm going to err on what I said before. As someone who collects vintage cards, like when it comes to vintage cards and I send a card in, I don't want anyone to touch it or do anything to it. I love the way it looks for a reason, and that's why I'm getting it graded, because I want it encapsulated. And I think when you alter a vintage card, it takes away from that story of where it's been and how it arrived to this condition. Because you can see some very beat up vintage cards that still look good in terms of centering, the coloring, and everything. And I don't want nobody to touch that. I don't want nobody to do what they do with comic books. And that's something I learned today. I had no idea that they did that with comic books.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I learned that right now.
This is very common.
So again, for me, if it's a modern card and it's something shiny and you're just cleaning it off to remove a fingerprint, I'm all for it.
Because I think Kurtz took a Joe DiMaggio card, soaked it in I think some kind of solution, some kind of purified water, and maybe alcohol. I don't want to misquote, and took a spot off the front of the card. And then went through the process of drying that card, getting the moisture out, and that card will probably most likely be sent in for grading.
Nah, I can't rock with that. I can't rock with that.
So let me ask this question. Let's get deep here.
Let's
get deep though. So if you walked up, Sam, do you buy comic books?
No, I do not buy comic books.
Jenny, do you buy comic books?
I have comic books, yes.
They're graded, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen yours. So if you walked up and you saw a comic you've been looking for a long time, and it's not graded as restoration, it doesn't have a purple banner on it, none of that, and it's there, will you ask the question, was that comic pressed or was it clean?
No, because it's my art. It would be my personal, like it's no. I just want it for my own
But do
beauty,
you,
personal.
but do you think that and sorry to cut you off, Jenny, but do you think what he did with that Koufax card alters his market essentially? Because say that card, what he did to it now, and say the grade was a
Mm-hmm.
4, but he did that work to it. Now the grade is an 8,
Mm-hmm.
and it overnight changes the card market. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I
Well, that's
think
the right. That's the
I don't
intention.
know.
Whoever sent the intention was to take that whatever that was off that probably occurred over time. Because the same thing happens with
Hmm.
coins. People are
Yeah,
cleaning coins and improving the grade and getting coins encapsulated with their grade on it. So the intention for that person was to improve the grade of the card. Just like if I had a modern day card and I wiped some residue or cleaned the front of that card and then I set that card in, my intention is to increase the grade.
yeah.
If I had a fingerprint on the card and I wipe that off, let's say I'm pulling, I get a fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
Is it right to wipe that fingerprint
No,
off?
it's not.
Because
It's okay to wipe the fingerprint.
well, see, people have different areas of
I just
prioritization on
I just personally think when it comes to vintage cards, stay away from it. Because that's like me cracking open my SGC 3 Wilt Chamberlain, which is perfectly a beautiful card, and looking at how it's a little off left to right and saying, like, fix this side so I can have
But see, that would be trimming.
a
That would be altering, though. To
Mm-hmm.
that, when you're talking about that, then you're talking about really altering.
But my thing is the way FD explained it. He said he dipped the card, he
Oh yeah,
removed
it's a
something,
video.
dried it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's too much.
Now,
But
what
that's just me.
about? Let's just talk about what we all think now, and
Yeah.
everybody's thoughts are valid. So let's say you get a card back from PSA, and it's a 7, and then you crack that card out and send it to SGC or BGS, and you get a better grade.
Yeah.
Would any of us do that? I would do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because grading is subjective, especially when you ain't do nothing to alter it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just, I have a Tony Perez rookie card, and I've shown it to everyone. Everyone who's seen this card said, I don't know how it's a PSA 5. It's perfectly centered, everything. And they was like, I don't know how this card is a 5. It should be a 10. But I mean, and it was like, you should crack it open and send it back. But I was like, if I crack this open and it falls on the floor, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even worth it. I might as well just leave it here. And the story of it is the great debate. Every time I show it to someone, it's a great conversation.
Well, that's the cool thing about the hobby is that everybody can have their own opinion about a situation, and then they make future moves that way. I'm a person that I enjoy taking risks, and that's a risk I'm taking because we all see cards that we look at, and probably somebody sitting in, especially in the '90s, they weren't cleaning cards too much. So and I've been learning more and more and more about there are cards that are out there that are graded that can be cracked, and the whole thing can change. The whole world can change.
Well, we got a lot of people in the chats,
I know.
and I appreciate everyone's comment and thoughts. This was a great conversation. So we got to move on to something fun. I want to know what everybody is PCing this week. What's your PC card of the week? Jenny, let's start with you.
Oh, you want me to go first?
So
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now, Jenny, I know you want to battle. This is not the battle. You get to go last.
I'm still proud of this card. I'm proud of this card. Okay. It's my 1990 Bo.
Oh, we got a Bo Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be backwards, isn't it? Whatever. Y'all.
We can flip it around.
It says Ob. Yes. Yes.
That's a nice card. That's a classic card.
Absolutely love. I had this poster when I was a little girl, and now I have the card. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Both.
Yeah, I got it. I got to get that into my PC. I got to get that.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's a purple one too. Like he's this way, and it's purple.
Okay.
I have that one also without the shirt. Yeah.
Just so Jenny, a good tidbit of information on that card. If you had that card and you want Bo to sign it, or if you want Bo to sign a picture of it, he no longer signs that.
Wow.
So that's some history on it too.
That's kind of depressing to know that.
So what about you, FD?
I have a 2019 glass Steph Curry card.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh, that's nice. That's
nice.
nice.
A
That's
little
nice.
Curry,
Little
little
Steph.
Curry
Yeah.
stew.
So something I've been PCing, it took me back to the 90s. Like in the 90s, I was a Phillies fan, but I also loved the Atlanta Braves. And it also had something to do with like the history of baseball. Hank Aaron, he was a Atlanta Brave. And I was a huge fan of this player for the Atlanta Braves. And when I saw his card at the Cherry Hill Expo, I just had to get it. It's the 1993 Chipper
Oh,
Jones rookie
great,
SP
great
for
card.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, like beautiful portrait
Yeah, that's a
of
great
like,
card.
you
Yeah.
know.
I love
So
Chipper. Chipper's great.
I've been PC in this. This is
Mhm.
my PC
Mhm.
card this
Wonderful.
week.
That's fun.
Yeah. So great cards. Now it's time for our collector on the rise. Before we jump into our guest of the week,
Yes.
I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start it off. So this person isn't like a collector on a rise. I think everybody like in the chat room, if you've been to like card shows all across the country, like you know who this person is because her daughter is always with her at every show. But you know, I just wanted to shout her out because she just like came back to the hobby and started to post content and post more cards. Love What You Collect, aka Erica.
Very
She is a passionate collector with a
Mhm.
diverse collection, like pop
a
culture,
lot of historic.
sports,
Yeah.
90s, everything. So yes, Love What You Collect, Erica. That's my collector on the rise.
Oh.
How about you, FD?
I'm gonna go with JD the collector, and I'm not biased.
Okay.
I'm not biased. He's
I
been
love JD.
No, he's great.
I
Yeah.
love
yeah,
JD.
he's been making
JD got some hot takes.
Yeah.
got some hot takes. We text each other. He's texting me all the time about some of his thoughts on stuff. Texted me the other day, but he's been making some moves as far as prospecting, and his strategy is evolving. And you know, and I really appreciate the how he's making strategy changes about what he wants to do in the future. And if anybody asks him about it, he can walk you through it from A to Z. It's well thought out stuff. So I appreciate him. Want to nominate him.
All right, we got the chat blowing up. 2020 Upper Deck Retro High Gloss 10 will be here soon. I think that's, I don't want to butcher this person's name, but yeah, that card. Let's make sure we look at that.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even want to try to pronounce that. I'm glad my wife's not here.
Who's the person sending in?
Reverend
Oh,
Brips.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kirill. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
try either.
Collection.
Nope. Never mind.
Yeah, he's probably talking about real.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Jenny?
Oh,
Who's your collector on the rise?
yes, definitely. So, he is way more popular than me, and so I would consider me on the rise and not him. But Ryan Curtis is. I saw Sasquatch on Instagram. We actually had a couple videos together at the Dallas Card Show, and interesting fact about him is he is collecting the Upper Deck Exquisite Tribute Packs autos. So I guess he started in September of 2010 maybe,
Okay.
and it has new drops every year. So there's new drops every year. So that's been his goal, and his main focus for his PC is those cards, and that, you know, like tunnel vision on those cards. So anyways, he's really fun to watch. He's got a lot of great ideas for content. He's constantly creating, and I love watching him. So
That's awesome.
I like it.
I was just looking at the chat. We had like 48 people tonight. That is awesome, and people are still coming back in.
yeah.
So I think this is the time. Let's move on to our guest of the week.
Mhm.
So I know we didn't get a chance to really like talk this week because everybody's just been busy, and like I reached out to a bunch of people for them to like come on the show, and we got two guests this week. So we're
I'm
gonna
with.
have our first guest come on, and then we're gonna have our second guest come on because I couldn't say no or I couldn't
my
like double
God.
back. So we already got her in the waiting room. We're gonna bring her in right now. Everybody knows Tanya. She does a lot of cool stuff with in the hobby, cards, car racing, everything, and she is just dope, dope, dope. I got introduced to her by Peter Pac-Man, and I've been following her ever since. And I thought she would be a good person to bring on for tonight.
And this is
Well, so,
Hello.
girl
What's
side.
up? What's up? What's up?
Yes.
What's up?
Hey, good
How
morning,
you
good
doing, Tanya?
evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Sam, for inviting me onto the show. Hi, Jenny. Nice to meet you. Hey, FD, what's up? It's been a while.
So, Tanya, we're gonna jump right into it. Our first question.
Yeah.
Describe who you are as a collector in 5 words or less.
Okay.
5
I
words
think I could do
or
that.
less. Sound.
So,
Last week somebody did it in 1 word.
oh, okay. So it's going to take a little bit more for me. So I would say I am a Formula One fanatic, F1 fanatic that champions cardboard culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
very
All
cool.
right. So here are our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
How long have you been collecting?
Since 2020.
Okay. If you could describe the hobby in 1 word, what would it be?
Um,
Oh,
I think we lost you. Can you repeat that? Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
trying to get a menu together. So I would say changing.
mm,
Mm.
mhm.
Changing.
For the good. For the good. Yes.
Yeah. We got to make sure we catalog all these like 1 word so we could do like a word or one day and
Yeah.
share it on our page. So we got changing. And then we got to circle back to our first guest and get that word too.
Mhm.
Changing. All right. What are the most overrated or underrated subsets in your opinion?
See, I can't even. I just collect Formula One cards, so I'm like so biased. Everybody knows this, right? Like everybody knows this. So I would say, in my opinion, Formula One side, guys, so I'll educate all day about
Yeah.
Formula One. I feel like Pierre Gasly's cards are underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I see a rise in Lando Norris because he does resonate with the younger group of Formula One fans. But Pierre Gasly, I still feel that his card is underrated.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question, Sam,
Yeah.
in the Formula One
No,
realm.
you educating us. That's why we got you on the show. You educating us because I don't know anything about F1, but I learned when I see you, Amani, like all you guys when y'all go on your live and talk about F1. You just like all. And then I remember a couple of years ago, you talked to us about like the scientific facts in like Clubhouse about like how cars are built and everything. So I'm always learning. Always
Yes.
learning. So last rapid fire question. What's your current chase card?
Oh my goodness. So my current chase card has not even been made yet.
Okay.
Okay, so if you do follow Formula One, you know that Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari in 2025. So
Okay.
I am going to be chasing Lewis Hamilton in red, and I cannot wait.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for doing the rapid fire. We really appreciate you. I also appreciate how you answered the first question. Powerful, because I really think it's important that we embrace this idea of like people have their own pathways in the hobby. And it's really important for like, even though it might be different from mine's, Jenny or FD, like what can I learn? Or like, how can that intrigue me? Let me hear your story. Let me hear the why. And I think it's important that we embrace that, and I just love what you do, and in terms of like all the work that you do with F1, your content, everything, because it's opening up a new world for me because I've never had any connection to car racing, so I just think it's dope. So our final question: if you were the face of the hobby for 24 hours, what 3 changes would you make to it?
Okay. So there are just so many changes that you can make. But the first thing that I would do would be an ode to the community and also children. I would implement a program and work with schools to teach financial literacy, using trading cards, and
Mm.
also entrepreneurial skills. And that's something that me and 2 other lovely ladies did for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We went to a Title I school in Las Vegas, and we taught over 500 students about trading cards, but then also gave them the trading cards and had them trade amongst each other. And I just was very elated to see their young minds work, how ignited they were to see these Las Vegas Formula One cards. And I think that would be the main thing. Child education and awareness around financial literacy is very important, especially when you're in schools with children who don't have that that foundation. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be the first thing. Of course, women, we have to do the shout out to women. I would definitely love to see more women in these upper echelon areas where they can facilitate change. So that would be something else that I would do within 24 hours. Now, I don't know who exactly.
Yeah.
I would have to, do some head hunting, but that would be the second thing that I would do. And you said 3
Yeah.
things?
What would be your...
Okay. So third thing, I am such a geek and a dental hygiene nerd. You guys know I'm a dental hygienist too, right? So last week I was looking through the toy chest and the toys suck. I was like, gosh, what are these toys? How come we don't have trading cards? How come the kids don't get trading cards with their toothbrushes?
Oh, that's great.
So
That's great.
I would launch a
True.
campaign
I like
with
that.
like
Do it.
Colgate. I would launch a campaign with Crest, and I'd be like, look, we need to get some trading cards in these kids' hands along with toothbrushes.
I love it.
That's great.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Great.
Make it happen. Yes.
Well, the women are really setting the bar high. So when we start to have like our male guests, they're gonna have to step their game up. But Tanya,
Yeah.
someone had Brandon Ryan 74 had a question before you go. Do you think F1 cars will be fitted with plasmoid generators? Did I say that right?
Plasmoid generators. Somebody educate me on this. I'm ever learning. So what is a plasmoid generator? What does
You
that
got
mean?
me.
That I don't know.
You got
No.
me.
Sounds
I
cool.
don't know.
So Brandon Ryan 74, make sure you hit up Tanya
Yes.
so you guys can continue that conversation, because
It sounds
that's
like
way above my
so
pay
engineering.
grade.
Yeah. It sounds like an engineering question. I need to ask one of my engineering friends.
Yeah.
Well, and just a thought quick. So my friend Meryl, who actually is on the chat, said she does trading cards for trick or treat bags. And I know you may not be able to in the next month get Crest and everybody on board, but what about getting people to send you their base cards and doing your own little
That'd be great.
kid bag and throwing them in there? Just a thought.
Would so love that. Would so love that. I'm actually in talks with my dental office. Oh gosh, I don't want to announce it too soon, but we were talking about doing a sealant program for the kids. And if you don't know what sealants are, all right, I know it has nothing to do with trading cards, but they're like little pieces that we put on the biting surfaces of the teeth to make sure the kids don't get cavities.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I would so love to give the kids trading cards during that. I mean, we get a chance to meet kids.
So
we get a
Tanya,
chance to
You should be
educate
sending
them,
Tanya
all that
cards.
yeah,
stuff.
Tanya, I'm going to send you a bunch of cards from my PC, and anybody in the chat room, if you want to send Tanya some cards, Tanya, tell them how they can find you, where they can follow you, everything. And then Brandon Ryan 74 said, look up Thunderstorm Generator on YouTube.
Thunderstorm generator.
check it
I
out.
will do that.
Yeah.
And hit me up, Ryan, so I can have your information so I can give you my feedback once I look it up. But yes, I can be found Shy Beautiful on this platform. If you hit the little upside down triangle, you can just follow me right then and there. And yeah, and also Apex Takeover Podcast on IG as well. And Shy Beautiful with, instead of the L, the 1 on Snapchat, because that's still my platform.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
cool.
Thank
Tanya.
you everyone
Hey,
for
before
inviting me. I
There you go. I
appreciate
also
it.
want to read Marilyn's comment where she says, I also donate to children's hospitals, the hospital that my son passed away at, women's and
Oh,
children's centers, and also love base card packs.
Mhm.
So
see, Look,
Tanya, thank you so
community.
much. We
Thank you,
really appreciate you.
Tanya.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
dues. We really mean it.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
We got
So
strong guests.
we got another guest, Kayla.
Caleb.
I'm gonna send her.
It's
Kayla was our
Kayla. It's
second
Kayla.
guest.
Tanya and Caleb on the
Hopefully,
same show.
hopefully she's still in the room. Kayla, if you're still in the room, oh, I
She's
think she's
coming.
here.
Where's she? Whoa.
Is that
Wait, hold
Kayla?
on. Oh, it's not loading.
I mean, we can hear you.
What's up, Kayla?
Awesome. Okay.
Welcome to the
Up.
Every Other Week podcast show. So you got a glimpse of the questions that we're going to ask. So we're going to jump right into it. Describe who you are as a collector in 5 words.
Okay. I'm gonna say okay. I had to count. I had to count. I don't change for anyone.
Ooh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I
Absolutely.
love it. I don't change for anyone.
Very cool.
I love it. I love it. So here's your rapid fire questions. How long have you been collecting?
11 years.
11 years. If you could describe the hobby in 1 word, what would it be?
Experience.
Experience. What are the most overrated or underrated subsets?
Okay. Overrated. I'm gonna say Kaboom.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think because
I agree.
I
Okay.
like the beginnings of Kaboom, where they had artists draw like their cartoony versions of those guys. I think that's unique. But I think now it's pretty much like any other insert you can
I
get.
agree.
It has a different design, but it's the same kind of concept, and I like unique stuff. So I don't think that's like too out there. Like I think a lot of them, it's a silhouette of the player with like a shiny background. That's the same thing as a Color Blast, same thing as a Kaboom. I want something different.
Okay.
And I think underrated, I would say Gypsy Queen Baseball has a parallel that's black and white. And I actually have one with me, but
Everybody write
they're like
that
black and
down.
white.
Gypsy Queen
Yeah,
Baseball.
those are nice.
I
Very
like
cool.
that.
And when you get them signed, they look even cooler. So I love those
That's
cards.
beautiful.
And they're numbered out of 50, so.
All right. So what is your current chase?
Probably a card I missed out on. I think last year, around February maybe, I was bidding on a Victor Hedman. He plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey. A puck card that had 4 or 5 pieces of game-used puck from each game of the Stanley Cup Final that we won. And I thought I bid pretty high, and I still lost. I have yet to see that card resurface anywhere. And I don't know what they're serial numbered out of, but that card still eludes me, and I wish it would have came home in my collection.
Okay.
That's a great card.
So final thought. If you were to face of the hobby for 24 hours, what 3 changes would you make to it?
Yeah. My first one would be similar to what Shai said. I would have more kids involved in the hobby, and I don't know exactly how I would go about that, but I think that is something that's isn't in really, I mean, it's trending a little bit in the right direction now, but I think there's still so much growth to be had there. And I think maybe partnering with like little league teams. I mean, there's little league teams for like any sport, both male and female. So I think that could really attract kids if they could like, if when they get drafted to a team and their little like goodie bag with their uniforms, if they had a pack of cards, and maybe they said if you bring them back next week and trade, you get like another pack or something along those lines. I think would be awesome. And second thing, which we saw come into effect yesterday, but I think it should happen across all major sports, is having sports card stores in stadiums that these, like in these major league stadiums and NBA arenas, hockey arenas, soccer stadiums, that whole thing. Hit Seekers just opened one with the Cincinnati Reds yesterday, and it looks amazing, and I think that is such a cool idea to do that, and it really 10x's the hobby. And it's such a brilliant idea. And I think that if that was in every single stadium, the amount of collectors that would come in that had no idea about sports cards but are passionate about sports, which those are the collectors we should have in the hobby. And I think those are the kind of collectors that will grow the hobby going forward. So I think that would be my main two. And then maybe three, I would encourage more content around the collector and what they're collecting. I think right now, like kind of what you guys were saying earlier, FD was saying earlier, is that a lot of the content he watches now is all geared around like transactions. And I spent this amount of money. I got this amount of cards at a card show. And I don't think that that really teaches the viewers of that channel that there's value in collecting. And I think there are some content creators that do balance that well, and they share when they get a PC card at a show. And I love that kind of stuff, and that's the content I create. And so honestly, I would maybe I would like ban like clickbait kind of sports card content and make it like you have to share a PC in a video or something like that.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So, Kayla, before we let you go, you know, I always give you your flowers, and you know how I feel about you. And I think you should be running a car company in the next 10 years. And if you're not sitting in a boardroom, shame on the hobby for that not happening. But just let people know how they can follow you, how they can, you know, stay in tune with your journey, and where to reach you at if they have questions.
Yeah, so the place I'm most active on is Instagram, where you're watching this. Kayla.collects, my handle will be right up there. You can follow me there. I also have a channel, Norsey Network, which is, I do like interview content there, which is kind of my journalism background a little. And I also write for Hobby News Daily. You can find me on there under the writers page. I write an article a month for them. And I also write for the daily Slab Stocks newsletter. I write their daily trender each day, which is typically like some sort of player that had a good game the previous day, any sport, and we talk about how their market has impacted since that moment. And I love doing that. It pairs my journalism side with like my sports passion side, and that's what I love doing. And yeah, that's where you guys can find me. I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of posting. I just have fun with it.
Well, Kayla, thank you. You know, also Tanya too. Thank you both for coming on. I think this is a great way to close out Women's Month, Women's History Month. And I think women's history is every day. But you know, I couldn't say no to either one of you, and I just thought it would be dope to have both of y'all on. So we appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Kayla.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, folks. So while Kayla,
Great guest.
so we at 9:50, and I don't want the live to cut off, but this is the moment why, you know, we're here, because this is about bragging rights. I know for me, because I took an L last week, but we do need to get FD on the winner board. But we're gonna jump into our card battle.
Uh-oh.
So I guess I'm first. So, boom, 1986 Topps, Patrick Roy, rookie card.
Very nice.
That's nice.
Very
Y'all
nice.
some haters, yo. Y'all some haters.
Jenny, what you
All
got?
right, what you got? What you got, FD?
Yeah,
Jenny
you
got to close this out. Yeah, because Jenny won last
I
week.
did win.
All right.
Yes.
She did win.
I did.
One-handedly. So I have the next MVP of the NBA 2019 Panini Flawless, Shea.
Oh, wow.
Back-
Yeah.
Back with the Shea again. Back with the Shea again. Okay.
Yeah, Shea all day.
Okay. All right.
Jenny.
Our winner from last week.
I feel guilty. Okay, so I know a lot of you that follow me have actually seen this on my Instagram, but I did pull out something pretty big so I could get 2 wins in a row. So anyways, I have this 1-of-1.
Oh.
Yeah, this is an on-card inscribed Philly.
She's
Wow.
winning. She has already won.
Patch. That's a patch. Bryce Harper.
Great card.
That's a great card, but it's not better than
Well,
this.
I mean, I don't know. We'll let the people decide.
Jenny,
Everybody put their
also
cards
show
up.
the box it came out of. That
Everybody
box,
put the cards up.
I don't have the box, but
oh,
the
that
box
box is special.
yeah, I got that signed by Jeff Wilson and the boys.
Yeah.
So yes, at Cards HQ. Yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I
Jenny,
think
you
Jenny's
might have
gonna win.
won.
But
Hey,
You might have won.
they gotta speak.
yeah, they do got to speak. Listen, I got to say one thing before we get cut off. So based on what the girls were saying about the kids, FD and I had this conversation not too long ago about the whole the way we want the hobby to go, and I think it's our responsibility because we love the hobby it is and what we know it. We
Yeah.
need to teach our kids to feel the same as we do. So it's up to us to teach them the right way of the hobby, to teach them about PCing and about what the hobby is really about. So yes, I think it needs to be a focus for some of us who
Yeah.
have that.
No, I agree.
Tell you what, this to piggyback on what Jenny's talking about. How do we talk to each other?
Yeah.
You know, how do we spend time around each other?
Right.
If someone has a different viewpoint, do you respect it?
Yeah.
Or do you trash it? Do you get a group of people now to trash it? Earlier today, we talked about Kurt's Car Care. There are many other topics that divide people. Let's just know that we may think differently, and then let's support each other in that process, and then love on each other in these cars.
So I think that's a perfect segue, FD, because we did have our question of the night, like what's the most iconic set of cards ever produced, but I think we can talk about that at our next show.
Yeah.
But I think that's a perfect segue into like the final thoughts, and it goes to the very first article that I ever wrote for Hobby News Daily about hobby human capital, and I know if anybody who read that article, they might look at it as like pie in the sky, but I think for us to truly take the hobby to the next level in this new era of collecting, we need to make sure that we're honoring the experiences of other collectors. We make sure we creating the space for other collectors to share their cards, regardless of how much they're worth. And I think that's the work that we all need to engage in and participate in.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, totally. It is a
So
responsibility we have.
Yeah. So with that, episode 3 is done.
Yay!
Go get this win.
Make sure y'all vote.
Vote for Jenny. Yeah, vote for Jenny and Bryce Harper. I love y'all. Thanks, family.
Love y'all too.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
one.